quite windy today. Good morning everyone and welcome to PowerPark. The music, the fencing, the grass, literally everything is giving Energylandia vibes right now. We're inside the park now and we're going to head round to the back to do Junker and Pit Special first. The signs are pointing for us to go around this way, but there's this in the way so we can't go around there. This doesn't make sense. So far my first impression is that I'm just confused. The paths seem to lead nowhere. I think we're walking up another dead end now. Maybe the joke's on me and I should have looked at the park map before I got here, but it should never be this difficult. The coasters do look pretty impressive though, if we can find the entrance. So it seems that this small passageway through here next to the ship is the only way you can get to Junker, with the other bit being closed. But yeah, now I'm getting a little bit excited. Look at the shaping on that roll. There's 2 train ops! I was told by some other people who'd visited that they had 1 train ops on Junker and that its capacity was horrendous. But I've just seen 2 trains go around at the same time. So let's get on Junker! It wasn't really. It's rattly, but a bit forceful. Probably the best Gerstlauer I did, and it reminds me why I don't like those Gerstlauer lap bars. They just dig in so tight, can't get any room with them. The launch was probably the best part though. It sort of caught me off guard, and the fact that they're running 2 trains is definitely a win. In the middle seat for a second ride, it's definitely not rough. I don't know what I was talking about before. And again, there's a lot of lateral forces that push me into the side, and the shape of the restraints kind of curl round your hips and it really jabs right into my side. Four rides on Junker already. Now time for Pit Special, which, unlike Junker, is running 1 train ops. Let's go on Junker again. Psych! Shut up. Time for Pit Special. I'll stop hating on every ride from now on, I promise. That was shit. It looks like there's loads of airtime hills on it, but the only airtime given was on that hill there, which was actually okay, and the drop, which was also decent, but somehow it's really quite rough. It's not that bad, but it's just, I guess it's just Gerstlauer in a nutshell. Oh, dead end. With typical Gerstlauer fashion, I have a headache already. I know the perfect cure. It's certainly not the most comfortable. If you listen to that, I was wondering why you can hear the anti-rollback dog sound effects like in 2 separate things, then you'll hear it again now. And I was wondering why, shouldn't it be just consistent? And it turns out the ride has 1 lift hill here and another one straight after. I've never seen that before. I'm going to do Thunderbird, which is actually a clone GCI layout, but it's not a Hide Either Ride clone. But for me, I've never been on the clone layout before, so I'm going to treat this as a new coaster altogether, as I should, to be honest, and I'm quite looking forward to it. That is a slow launch. It's actually just a sign that says Las Vegas. Like, what is the context? We've queued about 40 minutes for Thunderbird that's running with 1 train ops. Can I just say this is a massive scam? One side of the train's yellow, the other side of the train's green. I thought there might have been 2 train ops because I saw 2 different colours of train. Now it looks green. Before I talk about the ride, I want to talk about those operations. They're sending out a train basically every 6 minutes. So it really is a shame because the ride itself is just as good as many other GCIs. I find it very similar to Voden, Joris, Wickerman. Pretty smooth, and it feels like it keeps up a good pace for the whole ride. One of the biggest surprises at the park so far is this theming. I don't know exactly what to compare it to. It kind of reminds me of Portaventura. It's so random, but the buildings are so well detailed. It's much better than Energylandia's theming.
Why are you
Pregnant?
Who says I'm pregnant?
You are pregnant. I'm about to go on Cobra, which is the Vekoma boomerang here, and I'm a little bit looking forward to it because I enjoy speed of sound. The trains and restraints look a bit different though. It's weird. So that reminded me exactly why I love speed of sound. I don't know why people dislike Vekoma boomerangs so much. They're so forceful and they're just so much fun. It's not smooth, but it certainly isn't really that rough. And I actually like the alternative restraints as well because they gave me so much room above my shoulders, which literally has never happened to me for about 2 or 3 years. I like how it doesn't stop at the top, it just goes. Now we're going to go on Joyride, which actually looks like a somewhat interesting family coaster. This track is ridiculously close, like it's literally a meter from my hand there. I could literally touch it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that even if it's before the ride comes because it doesn't look good. It's actually not a rough ride, and for a coaster like that, the layout's not bad. The most sketchy thing about the ride, however, is its clearance. Literally look at that so that the wheel can fit past the support. It's a no from me. Time to ride Dragon Tower. This looks like the same model as the drop tower in Linnanmäki. I've just realised something. This drop tower also operates as an observation tower in a way because they have 2 cycles, and that's why we're not going to even get on the next train because there's fast down, which we're queuing for, and slow down. They're literally playing Avicii. That's my new favourite drop tower. No, I'm only joking, but the drop is so much better than Kingi at Linnanmäki. It's actually quite good. 40 minutes for this, we don't talk about that. That was my first ever space booster. It wasn't quite as good as I expected. I prefer Snake at Skara Summerland, but it was a very long cycle. Most of it was waiting at the top, but some nice views of the surrounding area. Now let's go on Typhoon, which sort of looks similar to X, which I rode yesterday at Seinajöki. With regards to this whole trip, I've experienced a lot more flat rides than I normally do. So it does get to the point where I start comparing them. This compared to X, which I rode yesterday. X is one of my favourite flat rides. This doesn't really come close. Right now we are literally credit hunting. We don't know exactly where the coaster is, but
I found it.
Yeah! There it is, hidden away in a small corner of the park. It's actually a clone of Runaway Mine Train at Flamingo Land, which was one of my first coasters. I actually do appreciate this because I remember getting that butterfly feeling on this ride. Really one of my earliest coaster memories. Somehow Malta got a different train. So now Malta's ridden it. That was the 46th.
I never found you funny. I never found you entertaining.
The final credit of the whole trip.
That was actually a very nice kiddie coaster.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's quite zippy. Avicii's playing again. We can't get enough of Avicii on this trip. So that coaster marks the end of a trip filled with no missed credits, apart from
The coaster you may not name.
there's a wooden coaster at a park in Sweden which was closed when we went, and I'm not allowed to name it apparently.
We're not naming that.
Most rides are designed to keep you in, but this one is literally designed to throw you off. And no, I'm not riding that because I don't want to get injured. So apparently in Finnish this is supposed to be pronounced PowerPark, and when they have rides like that, why not just call it Poverty Park? We're going on Pegasus next. Best flat ride in the park. It's time for Kwai River. Why did we go on that? No, it's actually pretty fun. This is a bridge that goes through the Finnish loop of Junker to a restaurant. The log flume's on the bridge, and then it drops down under the bridge, and it does a roller coaster turn here. See, the turn down there actually give laterals, and it feels like a coaster, not really a log flume. But I'm not going to count it as a credit. I'm just going to say it's an elongated drop section, just like this. So therefore we can conclude that this log flume has a curved drop. Junker looks like it's running a lot faster than in the morning, so I'm looking forward to this. I know I maybe didn't treat it with as much respect as it deserves, but I'm willing to give it another go, and I'm going to try and be a bit more open-minded this time.
12 seconds later.
Piece of junk. 2 train ops are literally everything. We've only waited about 15 minutes and the queue looked like it was going right near the entrance. Just had 2 rides on Junker, and I definitely like that a little bit more now. That takes my total rides on this to 6 today. Queue looks kind of long, but it moves so fast with 2 train operations. Even if it's a rolling launch, it's still intense and it's very fun. And then of course Positive Force is here. So in terms of a ranking, it's probably top 25 now. I've put it just above Lost Gravity. And unfortunately the thing restricting its position is the comfort. It just really hurts the back of my thighs because the seats are so sharp. Time for one last ride on Junker. That was my 8th and last ride of the day on Junker, on the front row, in the rain. It's grown on me definitely throughout the day. It's still not a favourite coaster, but top 25, that's quite high actually. However, we're going to finish with Pit Special. And I'll admit that I'm not really a fan of this coaster, but it's so unique, there's nothing like this in the world. And I think I'd at least like to do it a couple of times to give it a full experience. Time for the last ride of the day on Pit Special. Pit Special is just a really odd ride. The straight airtime hills somehow give laterals. So Pit Special behind us was the last coaster of Mega Viking Trip 2022. It's really sad to say goodbye. Malta's no longer going to be in my videos for a while, but he has featured. He's gone. Just like that. My brother has also been in a lot of these videos. You may have seen small cameos of him, and what an experience it's been in this past week. So thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.
Buckle up, it's a thrill ride.
How difficult must that have been to land?